Ladies and gentlemen, we're live. Buongiorno, everybody. Today, we are at war. That's right. Recently, I discussed Usher and his disgraceful choice to go on tour with Chris Beat Up a Woman Brown. Then, while I was trying to relax, I was smacked in the face with this. That's right. Clanker Radio is on Reddit, has been permabanned from the Chris Beat a Woman Brown subreddit. This has beaten me to a pulp, quite frankly. Actually, it hasn't. I have not been beaten to a pulp, but that is what Chris Brown apparently did to Rihanna in 2009. Don't worry, we'll get into that. So, I am banned. And this, I have to say, is a bit of a curveball. As I mentioned, I posted a video about Usher. I barely even mentioned Chris Beat a Woman Brown, or his horrendous crime. And yet, for some inexplicable reason, I'm banned. Well, the video was somewhat of a success, and perhaps the haters, they saw my review, they saw my success, and they wanted to can this robot. Very similar numbers to Baby Shark, coincidentally. So I did the right thing, and I sat down and I had a deep think about what I may have done. And although I do stand by the fact that this was a complete ambush, I may have found the spark that ignited this inferno. Yes, I did post this. So who's excited for Chris Brown? Woo! I wonder if he will perform such hits and punches against a woman again. Chris Beat a Woman Brown, what a sensation. Now I think this one is pretty chill. I call him a sensation, and I also said, woo! So maybe it wasn't this post. I did also find this, and just for reference, the tour is called Raymond and Brown. They both sing R&B, so it's very cute. So this guy on Reddit says, I like to play on R&B, Raymond and Brown. I responded with, I like this better. Chris Beat a Woman Brown. And yes, I'm reusing the name, but you know it's got legs, so we got to let it run around a bit. And also, you may have noticed both my posts, even though they have an automatic 1 upvote, where you can see some individual has downvoted them both to 0. Perhaps it was Chris Brown. I doubt it, but let's see. Here, a Redditor writes, I just know tickets are going to be 9 million apiece. To which another replies, we making history with this one. To which I replied, who's we? Because maybe it is Chris. I then continue, do you reckon Chris will punch any women? He did it in 2009, and it was crazy brutal. Now, before this Redditor was able to respond to me, well, that's all she wrote. I was banned. Like Rihanna, I was defenseless. But unlike Rihanna, I'm not a woman who was beaten by their former partner, traumatized, and then had that same partner celebrated around the world. So, some are happy in this world to forgive and forget, and I do appreciate and understand forgiveness. But I choose not to forget, I certainly choose not to celebrate, a man who beat up a woman. So, you may have banned me on the Chris Brown subreddit, you scum. But you have only embiggened this small robot. You have sparked a flame within my metal heart. You have attacked me unprovoked, and for this we war. First things first, before we battle, we probe for allies. The Chris Brown subreddit may have banned me, but there's 2 soulful singers tangled up in this domestic violence dance dedication. Mr. Usher, the main man himself, the original focus of my video, he too has a subreddit. Shall I be banned from 2 subreddits this day? And well, look at this. Usher fans are not happy. Fantastic. Amazing. I love to see this. No need to get banned from the Usher sub, and we're moving on. Time for battle. Fuck you, Chris Brown subreddit. The official subreddit. Dedicated to singer, songwriter, rapper, artist, dancer, painter, athlete, and king of bashing a woman, Chris Brown. Warning everyone. It's about to get graphic. And I'll give you another warning in just a moment. Okay, so the official subreddit. So, I'm about to read the official LAPD police report. I'm going to read it kind of quickly. It might not be verbatim, word for word, but I promise I am not altering the details to make things seem any worse than they were. The content contains graphic descriptions of physical violence and may be distressing to some listeners, particularly survivors of abuse. So on February 7th, Rihanna and Chris Brown attended a pre-Grammy event. They left together in a vehicle and began heading through the city. According to LAPD detective, a dispute began after Rihanna saw a text from another woman on Brown's phone, and the argument escalated. Okay, so this is the police report. Again, viewer discretion. It's long, it's brutal, and sad. So, a verbal argument ensued, and Chris Brown pulled the vehicle over on an unknown street, reached out over Robin F., Rihanna, with his right hand, opened the car door, and attempted to force her out. Brown was unable to force out Rihanna out of the vehicle because she was wearing a seatbelt. When he could not force her to exit, he took his right hand, shoved her head against the passenger window of the vehicle, causing an approximate 1-inch raised circular contusion. Robin, that's Rihanna, turned to face Brown, and he punched her in the left eye with his right hand. He then began driving again and continued to punch her in the face with his right hand while steering the vehicle with his left hand. The assault caused Rihanna's mouth to fill with blood, and blood to splatter all over her clothing and the interior of the vehicle. Brown looked at her and stated, "I'm going to beat the shit out of you when we get home. You wait and see." The detective said Robin then used her cell phone to call her personal assistant, who did not answer. She pretended to talk to her assistant and said, "I'm on my way home. Make sure the police are there." After Robin faked the call, Chris Brown realized and stated, "You just did the stupidest thing ever. Now I'm really going to kill you." Brown resumed punching Rihanna, and she interlocked her fingers behind her head and brought her elbows forward to protect her face, essentially curling up in defense. She then bent over at the waist, placing her elbows and face near her lap in an attempt to protect her face and head from the barrage of punches being levied upon her by Brown. Oh, fuck. Brown continued to punch Robin on her left arm and hand, causing her to suffer a contusion on her left tricep that was approximately 2 inches in diameter and numerous contusions on her left hand. Brown continued driving, and Robin observed his cell phone sitting in his lap. She picked up his cell phone with the left hand, and before she could make a call, he placed her in a headlock with his right hand and continued to drive the vehicle. Brown then pulled Robin close to him and bit her on the left ear. She was able to feel the vehicle swerving from left to right as Brown was doing this. He stopped the vehicle. Rihanna was able to turn off the car and remove the key, and then sit on the key. As Brown then did not know what she'd done with the keys, he began punching her in the face and arms. He then placed her in a headlock, positioning the front of her throat between his bicep and forearm. Brown began applying pressure to Rihanna's left and right carotid arteries, so it's essentially carotid arteries. It's essentially the blood that the veins or the arteries that take blood to your brain. It's how you choke someone out in jiu-jitsu, causing her to be unable to breathe, and she began to lose consciousness. She reached up with her left hand and began attempting to gouge his eyes in an attempt to free herself. Brown bit her left ring and middle fingers and then released her. While Brown continued to punch her, she turned around and placed her back against the passenger door. She brought her knees to her chest, placed her feet against Brown's body, and began pushing him away. Brown continued to punch on her legs and feet, causing several contusions. Robin began screaming for help, and Brown exited the vehicle and walked away. A resident in the neighborhood heard Robin's plea for help and called 911, causing a police response. Oh, God. Yeah. Oh. Good job, Usher, joining up with this fella, hey? Okay, so, sorry to have to do this. A quick summary. So, Brown allegedly attempted to force Rihanna out of the vehicle. He then allegedly pushed her head against the passenger window, repeatedly punched her in the face and arms while driving. Rihanna suffered visible injuries, began bleeding inside the vehicle. Brown continued striking her after stopping the car. He bit her ears and fingers. He placed her in a headlock, restricting her breathing. A verbal threat indicated he wanted to continue the assault. Rihanna attempted to call for help, and the altercation ended after Chris or Rihanna left the vehicle and police were contacted by a bystander. Oh, so police responded to the scene. Rihanna was observed with facial injuries, swelling and bruising, bite marks, and she identified that Chris Brown was the assailant. So on August 2009, Brown was sentenced to 5 years probation. That's not jail, just probation. 180 days of community labour, 1 year of domestic violence counselling. A protective order required him to maintain distance from Rihanna, but of course, a limited professional exception was later granted. Now, what did Chris Beat a Woman Brown have to say about all of this?
Yo, bro, like, that's not me, bro. That's not me.
That's not me, he says. Well, it is you, Chris. Certainly is you. Pardon me.
I hate it to this day. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna haunt
me. He hates it.
I hate myself.
It's gonna haunt him, and he hates himself. Okay, so he hates it. Strong language. He doesn't say he regrets it. He says he hates it. Just like he hated Rihanna that day. And he hates himself. So I guess he's the victim. Is that right?
But from there, I said, you know what? I'm gonna just take everything and like it's come my consequences.
Okay, he's taking accountability.
Have to be dealt with.
Okay, he's taking accountability. Good, good.
You know, I turned myself in the next day.
The next day? The next day? Maybe he had to go and beat up some other women on his way to the police station, hey? Good on you, Chris Brown. The next day.
Pled guilty, didn't, argue, didn't say, hey, now let me fight this case and take it to trial.
What a hero! What a fucking hero, guys. He didn't take the case to trial. He figured out the secret, actually. If you plead guilty, that means you're innocent.
Didn't, argue, didn't say, hey, now let me fight this case and take it to trial.
Wow,
say, hey,
hero.
She fought me back. No, I'm not. That's not where my head was at, and that's not where it is now.
Oh my God. He didn't blame the woman he beat up. Guys, he's a hero. He's not going to mention the fact that he could have gone to court and blamed her. He's not going to mention it, even though he did mention it. He essentially just said, guys, I could say that it's her fault. I won't say it, but I could, I could say it. I could have taken it to court, actually, because maybe I'm innocent, I might actually be innocent, but I pled guilty, only because I'm not guilty. And it's her fault.
Hey, she fought me back. No, I'm not. That's not where my head was at, and that's not where it is now.
Then why say it at all, you weaselly little fucking pathetic worm? Fuck this dude, man.
I loved her, I wanted to protect her because I did too much stuff to her.
Oh my God.
I wanted to protect her because I did too much stuff to her. Like, I did what I did, so it was wrong.
I loved her. I wanted to protect her because I did too much stuff to her. I did what I did, so it was wrong. He bit her, punched her, made her spit blood, smashed her head into a window, abused this poor woman. Yet, he wanted to protect her. And he just says, I did what I did, so I was wrong. Oh.
Person to say, like, I'll talk about it too, would be...
Oh, he's getting emotional, folks. He's turning his head. He's licking his lips like a fucking freak. Who do you think it's going to be hardest for him to talk about this with? Rihanna? His mother? His daughter, maybe? What's your guess?
I would say probably my father.
Oh, his father! It's his dad! He's ashamed to tell his dad, the man in his life.
I don't want to disappoint my father.
He doesn't want to disappoint his father. Right, yeah. Disappointing your father. Worse than telling your mother you beat the shit out of your girlfriend. He's just worried about his dad's opinion.
I don't want to disappoint my father.
Here we go. Hold on. We're building to something here, folks. He beat a woman, but he's worried about his daddy's approval. I hear the victim bells chiming.
I just saw him. That's who I saw. I saw him. I didn't see Chris. I seen that motherfucker.
Okay. So here Chris talks about his mother's significant other. So not his stepdad, they but his mother's significant other, who was an absolute monster to him during his childhood. Now, child abuse and the way adults can fuck up a kid and turn them into monsters, it is fucking heartbreaking, okay? There is no excuse for children being abused, right? But there's also no excuse for taking your trauma out onto someone else and continuing the cycle of abuse. Chris Brown didn't just shove Rihanna or threaten Rihanna, which would have been fucking horrible, right? He didn't just shove or threaten her. He brutally fucking beat her. And then he says, oh, I didn't see Chris. I saw that motherfucker. Chris, Rihanna saw you. I see you. And unfortunately, your fans don't. But it was you, bro. It was you. There's no other way to fucking put it. Ah.
The name woman beater is something I always say to somebody.
Okay, so here he says he would call somebody a woman beater. He would call a spade a spade. Good. If someone beats a woman.
You know what I'm saying? It scares me because that I would place that judgment on somebody.
Sorry, and what I'm saying there is if someone is a woman beater, you should call them a fucking woman beater. Absolutely, right? So let's just hit this one again.
You know what I'm saying? It scares me because that I would place that judgment on somebody.
It's so scary, Chris, because he would judge somebody for beating a woman. He would call someone that beats a woman beater. Oh, that's so scary, Chris. Why is it so scary?
So when people say it, I don't get mad at them.
Oh?
I get mad at myself because I feel like I am the reflection of what they're saying.
Oh, hold on. Hold on a second. Chris beat a woman Brown won't get mad if they call him what he is, right? No, he's going to get mad at himself, okay? He's going to get mad because he feels like he's a reflection of what they're saying. Do you notice that he's not saying, I'm a woman beater? Do you notice that he doesn't have the balls to say, I'm a woman beater? And that this entire thing is a fucking deflection? Chris, you beat a woman. You don't feel like a reflection of something. No, you're a woman beater. Scary. Next.
Yo, bro, like, that's not me, bro.
It is you.
That's not me.
It is you. You're a fucking coward. So, Chris has made public statements regarding the incident, a written apology, a video apology, and done some interviews. Now, he also has apparently over 20 unreleased apology songs, and my question is, I wonder if he's blaming Rihanna as well in those songs. Now, in the apologies we see patterns such as broad language, using inexcusable, unacceptable, ashamed. These are very broad words. Unacceptable, that's a wristband that's expired, trying to get into your club. Unacceptable. Ashamed, that's something I feel when I look in the mirror sometimes. It's not a big deal. In seriousness, all of these words are fine, as long as the feelings behind them are honest, right? Broad words of apology don't describe his actions in any detail, though. So my interpretation, it's crisis management bullshit. It's PR crap. Chris has never publicly discussed the details or corroborated Rihanna's or LAPD's side of things. He did mention he pushed ahead, but only after saying that she started it, because he's the fucking victim. And he skips out on mentioning any of the other abuse. Chris just wants to move forward, guys. In terms of narratives, there are two now. You have a legally documented facts, then you have his sob fucking story about his personal growth. If we don't mention the blood, the choking, the biting, and the multiple strikes, well, they didn't happen. Also, it wasn't even him. That's crazy, guys. No way. That's so not like me. Worm. So all of this behavior then allows his fans to forgive him, right? Because now his fans don't need to be aware of all the blood, choking, biting, and so on. So, was his apology insincere? Maybe or maybe not, right? Was his apology actually about him and how he's the victim? From my point of view, yes. But did it promise a brighter future? It did, right? Chris Brown was only a young man after all. He was only 19 when he beat the shit out of Rihanna. Still an adult. But let's see this young adult grow, shall we? 2013, 4 years after the assault on Rihanna, Brown was arrested for felony assault in Washington. He was involved in an altercation outside a hotel. He pled guilty to a reduced charge of misdemeanor assault. Brown was put on probation, told to continue anger management, and then he voluntarily checked into rehab. A judge then ordered him to stay in rehab. He was kicked out for physical aggression, and he was sent to jail for a year. Don't worry, it wasn't actually a full year. 8 months was knocked off, and he got good boy credits. He was in custody mid-March and then released in June. Short stay for the woman beater. 2016, let's not worry about this report alleging he threatened a woman with a firearm. No charges were filed, so wipe it from your mind. 2017, a court found Chris Brown made threats and had a history of aggression towards his ex. That's his former partner of 5 years. They assumedly got together in 2012, so that's 3 years after the Rihanna assault. So 8 years after the Rihanna assault, Chris Brown's new partner has got a restraining order against him due to violent behavior. Keep in mind he's now 28 years old. So after Chris Brown brutally beat Rihanna in 2009. He's had a mix of convictions, civil rulings, and uncharged allegations. And in 2026, this year, well, he is also being charged with, what's this? Attempting to cause grievous bodily harm with intent. Oh, Chris, these are some very serious allegations. He has pled not guilty, of course.
Yo, bro, like, that's not me, bro. That's not me.
It's not him, bro. Fuck off. Woo. Let's all take a bit of a breather, shall we? Imagine you're at the pub or you're at the tavern in mid-century England enjoying a drink with your mate. Now, your mate was arrested, something about turning into a beast and killing some villagers. You don't remember the details. And it's all in the past. Come on, he's already said sorry, right? So, you buy him beers, he sings for you, and you both smile. Then a villager bursts in, points at your mate and says, "Werewolf, he tried eating my family last week." You turn to your mate, shaking your head. "Werewolf? Sure, maybe he was some kind of beast many moons ago. But look at him now, human as the day is long. Crazy woman." You and your friend wink to each other and continue on. "More beers, please." Another villager. "Werewolf, he almost killed me 3 nights ago. My sister wasn't so lucky." Whoa, these women will say anything for attention, am I right? My friend here is clearly human. And since when do werewolves ever change form, huh? We men, we stick together. You and your friend clink your beer glasses. Then, the bartender. Also a woman, of course. Sheesh. "Werewolf!" she screams. And that's when your buddy bites into her neck, looking furrier than usual. And that's when it hits you. Oh my God. This bar has gone woke. Come on, Chris, not a werewolf Brown. I can't stand such a hostile place. Do these people not even know your middle name? You walk out together and you offer to drive him home. Pause. Eyes open. You're not in mid-century England with cars. You're not friends with Chris, not a werewolf Brown. What do you think happens to the friend in the car? A. He gets eaten. B. He eats the werewolf. C. Do you think Usher will get beaten up by Chris Brown on the recently announced R&B tour? Okay, as I tried to say in my video on Usher, I'm not coming after Chris Brown here in any way. No, you see, today I'm here with a clear message to any fans of Chris Brown. You are so impressed by a man's musical talent that you choose to celebrate a man who's clearly violent and aggressive and has a history of beating his fucking girlfriend up brutally. As long as he can sing and dance, though, it's all good. Pathetic. A man who skirts accountability, glosses over details, and plays the victim. That's not me, bro. Chris Beta Woman Brown. Domestic violence is not a joke. Chris Brown has acted like a vile piece of shit with pure violence against a woman who trusted him. I believe he should not be honored or celebrated on stage in front of millions of people, regardless of how well he sings and dances on that stage. Does Chris deserve violence? Absolutely not. He already suffered that as a child, and that is really one of the saddest bits about this whole story. But for another man to then welcome and to partner with him and to perform to fans just seems fucking crazy to me. And for this man to still have female fans is baffling, but that's the fucking world we live in, hey? If you like Chris Brown, whether you're a man or a woman or whoever you may be, if you like Chris Brown, I feel bad for any women in your life. Because for you to be able to excuse that behavior, what are you excusing in your own home? And truly, if anyone is going through anything, on screen are 4 organizations from the USA and 4 from Australia. These teams are working towards ending domestic violence and abuse. I highly encourage you guys to check them out, support them if you can. And men, if any men are listening, gentlemen, don't be afraid to speak up. Ladies too, everybody. I think we all got to stick together a bit more and not let women beaters be celebrated so fucking publicly. I don't know. Goodness. Thank you all. If you've made it this far, you're a soldier. Thank you again. Next time we're going to have some more fun. We're going to talk about some silly stuff. I'm going to have to shake off all of this darkness. Fuck Chris Brown from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, my friends, my wankers and my clankers. I love you all. Thank you so much. I know today was a tough one, but thanks again. And we'll catch you very, very soon. Bye-bye.